Hey, my name is Ability Godwin, and in today's video, we're talking about top 10 countries with missiles that could change the world. This is not hype. It is about capability, history, and the kind of weapons that can reshape politics, economies, and human life in minutes. Here's the grounding point before we begin. 9 states possess nuclear weapons today, according to CIPRI, and most world-changing missile discussions center on these 9. To make a full top 10, I will add one major missile power that does not have confirmed nuclear weapons, but has a large regional missile footprint and global strategic implications. Also, when I talk about impact, I will keep it factual and non-instructional. Even a limited nuclear exchange can have severe global climate and food effects, with research and expert reviews warning about mass disruption and starvation risk. The ICRC also warns that nuclear weapon effects would be beyond the capacity of humanitarian response. 1. United States. Key missiles you will hear about. Minuteman III. Trident D5. What they are known for. Minuteman III is a long-standing land-based strategic missile system. Trident D5 is a submarine-launched ballistic missile associated with sea-based deterrence. Why they exist? The core idea is deterrence. The logic is to prevent nuclear war by making any nuclear attack unacceptably costly. Impact if used. Even a limited nuclear exchange can spiral into massive long-term disruption, not just immediate destruction. This is why it is treated as world-changing. Chances of launch. Not something you can score like odds. The risk increases in moments of high tension, miscalculation, false alarms, or escalation. CIPRI notes that a large share of deployed warheads are kept at high operational alert, largely involving the United States and Russia. 2. Russia. Key missiles you will hear about. RS-28 Sarmat, RS-24 Yars, RSM-56 Bulava. What they are known for. RS-28 Sarmat is presented as a major heavy intercontinental system in Russian strategic modernization. RS-24 Yars is a modernized land-based intercontinental system. Bulava is a submarine-launched ballistic missile used for sea-based deterrence. Why they exist. Deterrence, survivability, and the ability to retaliate even after suffering an attack. That second strike logic is the heart of modern nuclear strategy. Impact if used. If the largest arsenals ever come into play, the consequences are civilization level, with extreme global disruption. Chances of launch. Again, the biggest risk is crisis escalation. CIPRI highlights the continuing reality of high alert postures, mainly connected to Russia and the United States. 3. China. Key missiles you will hear about. DF-41. JL-3. What they are known for. DF-41 is widely discussed as a modern long-range system in China's strategic forces. JL-3 is discussed in reporting and analysis as a newer sea-based ballistic missile development. Why they exist. Deterrence and ensuring that China cannot be coerced strategically. A major power wants confidence that it can respond under any scenario. Impact if used. Any direct nuclear exchange among major powers is globally catastrophic. Chances of launch. Usually framed as low outside extreme crises, but analysts watch posture changes because they affect decision time and escalation stability. 4. France. Key missiles you will hear about. M51. What they are known for. M51 is described as a core component of France's nuclear deterrent force and is associated with a sea-based posture. Why they exist. Strategic independence and national survival-level deterrence. France keeps full national control of its deterrent decision-making. Impact if used. Smaller arsenal than the two biggest, but still catastrophic. Chances of launch. Typically treated as very low except in an existential scenario. 5. United Kingdom. Key missiles you will hear about. Trident D5. What they are known for. The UK's nuclear deterrent is centered on submarines capable of launching Trident D5 missiles, according to UK government information. Why they exist. Deterrence against extreme threats to national security and survival. Impact if used. Catastrophic. Even a single nuclear detonation would create a humanitarian emergency beyond any normal response. Chances of launch. Generally seen as very low, with use framed around only the most extreme circumstances. 6. India. Key missiles you will hear about. Agni-V. What they are known for. Agni-V is discussed as a long-range strategic missile that sits at the top of India's deterrence ladder. Why they exist. Deterrence in a region with other nuclear-capable rivals and serious historical tensions. Impact if used. A regional nuclear war would not stay regional in its consequences. Global climate and food supply disruption is one of the main warnings discussed in modern research summaries about nuclear conflict. Chances of launch. Crisis-driven. The biggest risk is escalation during conflict, misreading signals, or rapid decision timelines. 7. Pakistan. Key missiles you will hear about. Shaheen-3. Babur. What they are known for. Shaheen-3 is discussed as part of Pakistan's longer-range strike capability. Babur is discussed in arms control analysis as a nuclear-capable cruise missile family, with versions tested for different roles. Why they exist. Deterrence dynamics in a high-tension neighborhood, primarily shaped by Pakistan's rivalry with India. Impact if used. A conflict on the subcontinent carries global consequences beyond the battlefield. Chances of launch. Also crisis-driven. Analysts often point to short flight times and fast escalation risk in the region as a major danger factor. 8. North Korea. Key missiles you will hear about. Hwasong-17, Hwasong-18. What they are known for. Hwasong-17 is described as a large intercontinental ballistic missile. Hwasong-18 is described as a solid-fueled intercontinental ballistic missile, which matters because solid fuel is often associated with quicker readiness and survivability. Size also summarizes North Korea's broader shift toward mobility and survivability in its missile force. Why they exist. Regime survival, deterrence, and bargaining power. Impact if used. Catastrophic, with high risk of rapid escalation involving bigger powers. Chances of launch. The volatility risk is higher during political or military crises on the Korean peninsula, especially if leadership feels cornered. 9. Israel. Key missiles you will hear about. Jericho-3. What they are known for. Jericho-3 is listed by size in its global missile system coverage and is widely discussed as a strategic ballistic missile capability. Why they exist. Deterrence in a high-threat environment with long-standing strategic ambiguity. Impact if used. Catastrophic, with regional conflict likely to expand rapidly. Chances of launch. Generally framed as tied to an extreme existential scenario. 10. Iran. Key missiles you will hear about. Shahab-3, Sejal, Khorramshahr. What they are known for. Size describes Shahab-3 as a major step in Iran's medium-range ballistic missile capability. Reuters reports Iran has the largest ballistic missile stockpile in the Middle East and highlights systems such as Sejal and Khorramshahr in discussions of its capabilities and doctrine. Why they exist. Iran frames its missile program as deterrence against major rivals and regional threats, while critics view it as a destabilizing capability. Impact if used. Even with conventional warheads, regional damage can be severe. The bigger global risk is escalation into a wider conflict. Chances of launch. Risk rises sharply during direct confrontations, retaliation cycles, or a breakdown of back-channel diplomacy. So, which countries could realistically end the world? We've come to the end of the story, and if you made it this far, you're a real one. I hope you enjoyed every bit of what we uncovered today. Thank you for watching and for sticking with me. Now, do me a quick favor. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and turn on your post notifications or hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. Thank you.